Lori Ballou here, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and creator of the Holistic Low Carb Methid for women over 50. We're going to talk today about the misconceptions of dieting and what you can expect with my method versus some of the traditional methods out there, and what the misconceptions really are talking about, because we know there's been a lot of skinny myths out there, a lot of narratives that talk about calories in and calories out, and looking at weight loss as a diet when truly you want to look at it as lifestyle. It's like, how can you reset your metabolism, manage your blood sugar, and create a lifestyle around food that is better for our body, that helps our body function, as food is medicine. And so I look at the Holistic Low Carb Methid as a management for your metabolism. I fix metabolisms so that you could live longer and have a better quality of life. And to do that, you have to correct your blood sugar and have a lifestyle reset that is going to take you there. And when you do it, you will feel amazing, because this is the way we're supposed to feel. We're not supposed to feel tired. We're not supposed to feel fatigued all the time and be totally burnt out. How can we work with nature and work with our lifestyle management to manage blood sugar so that we could be more resilient, thrive, not survive, but feel amazing in our body? So let's talk about some of those misconceptions. And the calories out of calories approach was just plain broken. Sure, calories can matter. A woman cannot eat 4,000 calories if she doesn't have the muscles to burn it. But if you have the muscles to burn it, that could be another story. But let's look at the word diet. A diet that restricts food isn't a long-term weight loss solution, for the very fact that you would just gain all the weight back. That's a temporary solution. So when you think about diet, going on a diet, think, well, I am temporarily going to lose this weight, because I will then, when I stop and go back to my old habits, I'm just going to gain it back. So you should tell yourself that, because that's what happens. And so a calories in, calories out approach where you're restricting yourself isn't a long-term solution. So if it's a diet that you persist at, and there's lack of nutrients because you were doing this calories in and calories out approach where you're doing more of a starvation mode, you're not giving your body the nutrients your body needs to balance hormones, to have a good immune health. And so when you look at it from functional health and nutrition, and you're restricting yourself, having a starvation episode in your life, you're going to lower your basal metabolic rate and damage your metabolism long term. That's what happened to the big losers. When you do things like that long term, your metabolism's never going to work. And so you all gain weight back. You gain all the fat back. But if you burned muscle and bone at the same time, you won't gain that back. And so that's what I'm talking about with this misconception and the narrative on skinny versus healthy. We want to address those narratives. And so you can understand that when you're making a decision to lose the weight, what is the decision that's going to work for your body, and what do you want to have for long-term results so that you can actually support your health? And when you get nutrients and the right amount of proteins rather than limiting protein, because it's not about limiting protein. Our bodies are made of protein. If you don't put more protein in there, your body breaks down and can't manage detoxification. And so this is your immune health. A lot of people come to me because they want to correct their immune health. They want an anti-inflammatory diet. They don't want to have prediabetes. And when you look at blood sugar management, when you lose weight, that's how you're going to get the health that you want to have. And so I say that a lot. Okay. This is when you become more sick. If you're doing nutrition, if you're restricting nutrition, so don't think, that you're restricting calories. When you say that word, say, I am restricting my nutrients. And therefore, this has to be temporary. Because what's going to happen is you're going to become more sick and your heart will suffer. I remember hearing someone the other day saying, someone was saying when they were telling people to cut their calories, they were still needed to have meat in their diet, because if they didn't have meat in their diet, they wouldn't have a heart that would function. And so you need to have a heart that's functioning. You have to have nutrients for your heart. CoQ10 for the heart comes from meat. We have to have that for our health, for our immune system, for our health. And so we want to look at those misconceptions that a low-calorie diet will work for you to lose weight. Sure, there's a lot of places out there that tell you to cut your calories and restrict to lose the weight, but what happens when you add it all back in? the weight just boomerangs back. It is not a long-term solution. You will not be in a nourished state. That's why there's always problems with even the Ozempic and all those GLP-1s. If you're going to use them, you're going to be in a more starvation mode. You're going to be not absorbing your food, and you're not going to have the nutrition that you need and the nutrients you need for your body to function. At this age, when we're 50, that's not a viable situation. We want our hormones to work. We are more insulin resistant. We need to eat a low carb diet to function and to have the nutrients we want to be building muscle and bone. And so if you're going to go on a calorie restricted diet, you're not going to get very far. So that's why I wanted to tell you more about the Holistic Low Carb Method and some of the misconceptions of dieting so that you could pick a diet that's going to work for you. And when you look at it as, I'm not dieting, I'm changing my lifestyle so I can feel good in my body, which is what my clients tell me. I always feel good. This is so easy. I just fix everything low carb. They are amazing. You know, they feel amazing. So this is another thing that can happen. When you focus on the calories in, calories out approach, and you're not getting nutrients, when you're not focused on nutrition. And a low calories approach is not nutrition. Those autoimmune issues, those pesky autoimmune issues, they're going to pop in. You're going to get more bacterial dysbiosis because you're feeding the bad bacteria low carbohydrate, higher carbohydrate foods, which is a higher sugar food, and you're going to have more candida issues and fungus, creating an inflammatory colon. And so one of the doctors I was listening to, he talks about how carbohydrates are not really necessary in the regard for nutrition. I've heard this all the time, and so you really want to think about that. The colon gets diseased and has inflammation when there's too much sugar in the diet, when you're not digesting your food and you have carbohydrates and protein that is causing putrefaction in your intestines, in your colon, and it's not digesting and your detoxification is stalled, and then that messes up your hormones. So when you're eating low calorie, you're not giving yourself the nutrients and you're not feeding your good bacteria to create a healthy colon. So that's something to really want to think about. I mean, if cancer and your immune system begins in the gut, we got to correct the gut. 80% of your immune system is in the gut. A lot of colon problems lead to the big C, and we don't want that. And so to correct that, we got to work on correcting your gut. And you got to work on feeding your good bacteria. I call it feeding your skinny bacteria. Do not feed the fat bacteria because they will store more calories away for you as fat. And so that's one of the tricks. So feeding fat bacteria means giving them high carbohydrate foods that are rich in sugar, and they will make you hungry. They will cause you to eat more food. So we don't want them to survive. We want to starve them out. And sometimes you have to do some kind of herbal bacterial support to get rid of them. So make more room for your skinny bacteria to grow. And then we nourish and feed those good food, good fats. We want short chain fatty acids in our colon. And so, in the beginning, when you're on a low-calorie diet, sure, you might lose a little bit of weight because you're restricting. You're restricting your fat, you're restricting your protein, so you're restricting calories. And you might even lose 20 pounds. But how often have you had to lose that 20 pounds and gain the 20 pounds and lose the 20 pounds and gain the 20 pounds? How many times have you been on that merry-go-round? I've been on it, and I want it off. And so for the only way I was able to get off and to get my life back, to get my brain energy back, to get rid of the depression, to ditch the allergies, to ditch the asthma, the only way I could do that was to get on a low carb diet, and that's what I did. I got off the roller coaster ride. I dropped the 20 pounds and never gained it back. Isn't that awesome? And so I wanted to tell people, I wanted to let you guys know, as women over 50, we need to know that we need more nutrients. We need to grow our bones, grow our muscles. We don't want to shrink. We don't want to have sarcopenia. We want to have health. This dieting just isn't the way to do it. It's not sustainable. Dieting that is restrictive, that is often called the calories in, calories out approach. Often when we cut out the protein and the fat, we get gallbladder dysfunction. Per Dr. William Davis, he even says, go low fat, go low protein, go schedule your gallbladder surgery. It's pretty scary. When I heard that, I thought that was just like, wow, that's eye-opening. And if your stomach's not functioning, if you have low stomach acid from the lack of protein and fat, your digestion is now impaired. And so you're not digesting your food, and then bigger particles of food go down into your intestinal tract where they're not supposed to be, and then you end up with overgrowth of bacteria, overgrowth of fungus. You're letting in parasites into your body, you're letting in bacteria into your body because your stomach is your first line of defense. And if you're not blocking that bacteria and parasites, or killing them with your stomach acid, they're going to get into your body. So digestion gets complicated. We want to maximize digestion. So that's another problem of the narrative of calories in, calories out. If you're doing something against what our body was designed to do, it's going to stop functioning. And then you're not going to have good stomach acid. You're not going to have good bile flow. You're not going to have a gallbladder that's functioning. And there's going to be more inflammation. And so if you have GERD, GERD is part of the calories in, calories out definition because it lowers your stomach acid. And GERD is a symptom of low stomach acid. It has nothing to do with high stomach acid. That is a symptom you feel. The underlying core problem is low stomach acid. You can't, the stomach sphincter muscle does not open. And then when it does not open, what is happening is your acid backs up. So what do you feel? You feel acid burn. Not enough stomach acid, ladies. Not enough stomach acid. So, and you know, the other part of this dieting thing is it causes the muscle and bone loss. That's just, not just fat loss. So when you gain it all back, when you're done dieting is a temporary situation. Fat comes back. That's why people get stalled. That's why you get stalled. And then you get frustrated. I've been there. I understand. We don't want to be frustrated. We don't want to do this again and again and again and again and again. Let's stop the madness. Get off that roller coaster ride. Don't do the calories in, calories out approach. That narrative is busted, broken. It doesn't work. What works is a low carb method. And that's why I am working with my holistic low carb method with functional nutrition so that you get it right. You stop the toxins from coming in your body if you do a holistic lifestyle. And that's what I teach you and train you. That's my special super sauce. I want you to have a body that's clean so that you don't store away body fat, because when you have toxins and you're bringing in more toxins to your body, you are actually creating more fat cell to store toxins. So we want to eliminate that process. That's why why I call my low carb method a holistic low carb method, because we're going to look at your environment and clean it up as well, because that's necessary. Clean up your fat, give yourself an oil change. So there's the differences, the misconceptions of dieting versus living a lifestyle that you get to create and feel good with. And it's an ongoing creation that works for you long term. You get to keep doing it. And you get to create the lifestyle that works for you. You don't want my lifestyle specifically. You want to create your specific lifestyle. That's why we work 6 months together, so I can get you the education and the information and dial it all in, and you get that weekly support so that you could build actions and create that strong lifestyle so that you don't have to ever diet again. This is not a diet. Those are the misconceptions that diet works. Diet is never going to give you the results that you want, and if you do always starve your body and you're always hungry. There's some women who has amazing willpower, that they live their life just in restrictions, starving, low calorie, low fat, but you might end up sick. You could have dysfunction. Did you know your eyes won't work if your blood sugar is too high? You can have more eye disease from that. That's one of the symptoms of prediabetes, and that's one of the symptoms I had when I was pre-diabetic before I reversed it, was wonky eyes, I called it, because my eyes were just blurry and I couldn't see straight. I didn't like that. And so that was one of the great things that disappeared. But that's something to be aware of. We want our vision to maintain. We want our brain to be maintained. But if you're not feeding your brain fat and protein, your brain is made out of fat. It needs that. It needs a little bit of glucose, but your body knows how to create that glucose. The problem is if you're eating a high sugar diet, like on a low calorie approach for weight loss, you can get some glucose into your body for your brain to work. But guess what? If the insulin levels are elevated all the time and you have insulin resistance, which 88% of the population does, if you have insulin resistance, if you're a little bit overweight, even if you're not overweight, you could have visceral fat and have insulin resistance. So a lot of people, it's probably higher than 88%. I'm just going to use that term because that's the 88% of the Americans that are unhealthy and overweight. So what is happening at that point is you're insulin resistant. You can't actually get insulin into your brain to utilize that glucose. And so that glucose gets sticky and can cause problems, and it's not utilized. And so you have brain fog and you don't have good brain energy. And so there is that problem of not getting the health that you need on a diet because it's not working for the health of your body. So it is something where you will survive, but you will not thrive. And surviving is only a matter of time because you're cutting short your lifespan on a calories in, calories out approach and a skinny narrative. It is never going to give you the health that you want. So losing muscle on a diet is not what you want. Losing bone is not what you want. So if you don't get the nutrients, you end up with sarcopenia and fragile. And I remember doctors saying butter bones. I mean, can you imagine slicing a butter knife through your bones because your bones are not knit, because they're not strong, because you didn't eat the fat and the protein you needed, because, you know, those narratives, those skinny narratives, you know, they're like, oh, if I just eat less, I could lose the weight. But what if you could eat more, feel great, and lose the weight? You can't. That's called the Holistic Low Carb Method for women over 50. It's my holistic health adventure strategy that is going to work for everybody. It works for, and it works for women who are younger as well. Because if I wish I had known this information back in my 30s, so I wouldn't have had to lose my 30s and 40s to obesity. So that is a group of women, mid-30s. I love helping women in their mid-30s because that's where my journey started. Because I had that misconception that if I cut out all the sugar, if I cut out all the fat, I would lose the weight. But I never got healthy. And so we want to actually cut out the food that damages our body so we could lose weight naturally. We have to put our health back together again. And so the reason so many elderly have sarcopenia, which is bone and muscle loss, and it could be bone loss, and they look frail and skinny, is because they've lost their muscle and their bone. Well, we need to feed our bodies that. So if you're over 50, you want to start thinking about, are you getting the right amount of protein? Are you getting the right amount of fat? Don't let these misconceptions about low-calorie dieting, throw you off the rails so that you can't thrive. This is about thriving. So you're often told that fruits and vegetables are healthy. They just can't give you enough protein to continue to build and repair a meat-based body. And so you always want to think about that, looking at fruits and vegetables as minute amounts of food into our body. Like when we were out foraging for food, you would forage for tubers, you would forage for fruit, you would have a little bit, but you couldn't really fill up on it. What you filled up on was fat and protein. And so those would be like a minute amounts where you actually had, it's more like plant medicine where you get a little bit, but you don't have too much, because too much can cause your body to build up with toxins. And so we don't want too much, we just want the right amount. And it's what's really interesting is yesterday I had a little bit of leftover fiber mix that I had bought in the past. And I had put that in my probiotic yogurt like I used to do. Well, I used to have some diarrhea. And as I did more meat-based diet, that diarrhea diminished. And all of a sudden it came roaring back. And I'm like, well, the only thing I did different was add this fiber mix. Obviously, my body doesn't want that in me. So I deleted it and threw it out. And so we got to look at things like that. And that's why I like to run a food sensitivity test. And actually, I run 5 diagnostic labs, maybe 6 with my 6-month program, so that you could get the hidden weight loss blocks revealed, and you can look for your hidden healing opportunities to put your body back together again, so you can reclaim the second half of your life. And the reason that's important is because we need to be able to listen to our body. If we find what our food sensitivities are and take them out, at least temporarily, see how our body reacts to them when you bring them back in. Take them out for 3 to 6 months, let your body heal and seal the gut. And then all of a sudden, you know what you can or can't eat. Like the other day, I used to be sensitive to cocoa, but I had a little bit of a hot cocoa drink yesterday. I had coconut milk with some coconut oil. And then I added some gelatin, a full serving of gelatin, beef gelatin, and I added some Perfect Aminos vanilla protein powder. And I heated that up and I had a hot cocoa. Well, my heart rate was good. It was 52 last night, and my HRV is usually in the mid-30s when my heart rate is low, mid-30s to 40s, which is good for me in my age. Could be better perhaps, but I rarely can get my heart rate down under 40. If I could get my heart rate down under 40, my HRV always pops up. So that one is a little bit hard. So what I'm saying with that is I used to be sensitive to cocoa, but I didn't react to it last night. And so that was good information to me. And I like the fact that it's, I could have a teaspoon of cocoa and it didn't bother my body. So I really like that. I can listen to my body and course correct as I go along. And so keep in mind that we have a meat-based body. If we're eating too much fruits and vegetables and focusing on that only and not focusing on getting 20 or to 30 grams of protein at each sitting, then we're not going to get enough protein to build our body, to have healthy bones, to have healthy muscles. So all the nutrients we need come from meat and fat to absorb our fat-soluble vitamins for our body to function optimally and for the brain to be happy and for the hippocampus to work. Focused and full of energy is how we want to feel. Everybody's fatigued. Everybody, that 88% of the population, you're fatigued. Your energy is not what you want. Your eyes are wonky. It's all because of too high blood sugar. That calories in, calories out approach, which focuses on too many carbohydrates, not enough protein and not enough fat. You want to flip this around. You want more protein, some vegetables, and enough fat to make your body feel good and to feed your brain. So as a species, we can actually survive on fat and protein. There's many studies out there that show that we can subsist. Many indigenous cultures around the world have lived on fat and protein and done well, and they'll have carbohydrates because they're out there grazing and they have them in their environment. But one of the things they don't have in their environment is a high sugar, high vegetable oil diet. So if your calories in, calories out approach diet is including vegetable oil, you're going to have inflammation and you won't get the energy you need, because that's one thing that Dr. Kate Shanahan talks about. Dark Calories is her latest book, but she mentioned that if your cellular system is made of vegetable fat from vegetables, you're not going to get the energy you want because we can't burn that cleanly. Our body doesn't know how to burn that type of energy. And so we're going to have more fatigue and more inflammation. That's what leads to cardiovascular risk overall. That's what we need to be careful of. And so if we're not eating the fat, the protein, and we're focused too much on vegetable oils, we're not going to have the health that we're not going to thrive. So as a species, we can survive on fat and protein. And so that's what you want to do, is always think, how much protein am I eating? And then you can add things to it. Fermented kimchi, fermented pickles, some arugula, some broccoli. Add things to it. See how your body can handle how much vegetables you can handle. But if you're adding a lot of fruit, more than one serving of fruit a day, and don't ever drink your calories, because that is just a high super sugar load to your body. But if you have one serving of fruit, you might be able to do it. But you have to determine, do you have insulin resistance? Are your eyes wonky? Do you have pain in your body? Do you have a disease? Do you have stuff happening? If you do, you more than likely have insulin resistance. You may even have prediabetes. If you do, you don't want to throw fruit on the fire. Fruit is sugar. You don't want to throw that sugar on the fire and create more pre-diabetic state with more complications oncoming. We want to decrease the sugar in our body. So when the problem is with this sugar, with this skinny narrative and the calories in, calories out approach, it's just too much sugar in the body. We want to reduce that. If you eat too much fruit, now you are just storing fat away for winter, and that never comes out the way we want it to. Winter never comes for us. We eat 365 days out of the year, and we don't have to worry about starvation for winter. So that was the way, mammals would, eat the fruit, eat as much as they could in summer and fall to get fat for winter so they can survive. We don't want that situation in our body because we don't go into starvation. And so you have to go in and out of a feast and famine, go in and out of plenty and less plenty, like a keto state, because you need your body to be able to function in that way. If your body is completely turned into an insulin machine, that's why the body makes you insulin resistant. It's too much. It can't handle it. So you become insulin resistant. You become leptin resistant. You become very hungry. You can't stop the cravings. That's what this is so cool about. This is not a diet. It's a lifestyle process. When you look at all these misconceptions about what dieting is and that it's good for you and it's going to give you better heart health, that's just all BS. It's not working. If it was working, why do we have an obesity epidemic? Why do we have a diabetes epidemic? It's not working. It hasn't worked for a really long time. Didn't work for me. Didn't work for my brother. Didn't work for our dead sister. It didn't work. It doesn't work. You get stuck on the merry-go-round and you lose 20 pounds, you gain it back, but you're damaging your health every single time, and you're going to have more inflammation and your heart's going to be stressed out. This is all about thriving, ladies. Heart health, brain health, and feeling comfortable in your body and knowing that what you're doing is giving you the health that you need. We don't have to struggle if you get the right lifestyle and stop dieting. So let's talk about what fruit can be. Fruit can be dessert. Fruit is dessert. So it's a little bit of berries. Low sugar fruit If you want to come off of carbohydrates, if you want to come off of those refined carbohydrates, go down to fruit. Get your carbs under 100. Start there. Start paleo. But take the honey out. Honey is often considered healthy. If you have a good metabolism, if you're not insulin resistant, if you don't have any visceral fat or any weight that you need to worry about, then honey could be okay. If you're going to be starving in winter and going into ketosis and you had honey, a whole lot of honey in summer, and you fattened up, that's what the body was designed to do. But your body was designed to sleep it off and burn it off in winter when there wasn't food around. We're not doing that anymore. We're continuing to bombard our body with more and more sugar. And so even though honey is considered healthy and it has some medicinal purposes, and you could do some manuka honey for maybe fighting some H. pylori or for your throat, if you have insulin resistance and diabetes, it could be too much for your body. And so those are some things that we always want to consider. Is your metabolism working or is it broken? I fixed metabolisms. Mine was broken. We can fix them. You don't have to settle for surviving. You get to be radiant and thrive. So those are all the things that I want for you. For everybody deserves that. Everybody wants to be comfortable in their body and have that smile come back to their face, and to be able to get dressed and put on your prettiest outfit or a pair of jeans and a nice plain shirt and just feel good in your body. That's what we all deserve. But if 88% of the population is unhealthy with a broken metabolism, then fruit is a dessert. Honey is a dessert. You can't have it unless you want to stay in that state. And so when you want to resist it and pull that out, not look at this as a diet, but can you eliminate it for a period of time? Have it as a special occasion. When you turn off your cravings and you're able to control the food that you eat, then you're going to do better overall with what you want to focus on. And what is our goal? Our goal is a healthy weight, that we feel comfortable and beautiful in our body. So fruit can be minimally used. We don't need honey. Honey is non-essential. And fruit is non-essential. If you want nutrients, we want to get the nutrients from meat. Meat has all the nutrients we need. When we get the right building blocks from meat and the fat to help absorb it, we get our fat-soluble vitamins, and we absorb our vitamins and our cholesterol. Your body knows what to do with it. And so high doses of vitamins aren't necessary at that point, because you're giving your body the nutrients it needs from the food that you're eating. So you don't have to try to bring in a whole bunch of greens, powders, and vitamins. I used to do that. I used to think that's what I needed, but I've discovered that my body wasn't absorbing the nutrients. I feel better eating more fat and protein and cutting back on some of the carbs, because I wasn't absorbing the nutrients that I needed, because now I can feel the difference. My brain works better. I feel more energetic. I'm doing this recording at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because I have the energy to do that, because I can concentrate, I can feel good. And that's what I do is I might take things like lion's mane. I mean, lion's mane's some good stuff, guys. Helps you focus, helps you have better REM sleep, helps with BDNF. And so I used to have depression. And so I do use supplementation to help support my brain. I'll use L-theanine, I'll use GABA, I'll use a little 5-HTP of some lithium, because I want to make sure that my brain's working. I want to have brain-derived neurotropic factors that make my brain focus, function, and be able to recall things as I need to, as a professional, as a functional nutrition practitioner, and as an entrepreneur, to build this business so that I could be here for you. Those things are all important to me, and that's what I do so I can be my best. And so 88% of the American population is unhealthy with broken metabolism. So let's fix your metabolism. Fruit is a dessert. Honey is a dessert. If you're going to go to a wedding or birthday, or have a birthday, and you want a tiny bit, get back on track the very next day. Don't just blow the whole thing. And never, never, ever eat anything that's fried with vegetable oils, because that's a poison to your body. We don't want to eat that. And if you eat too much dessert at the wrong time of the day, that can be creating blood sugar dysregulation, because you ate it at the wrong time of the day. So never eat after dark. That's another thing that you want to have, that type of rule, because the misconceptions of dieting doesn't take into consideration circadian balance, circadian health, and that your body is, every organ in your body is on a body clock. So your digestion stops at night. If you're putting food in your body at night, you're raising your cortisol levels, you're raising your insulin levels, but your digestion's not working. And so you're stalled, and you're going to have all this food in your digestive tract, and your body's not going to know what to do with it. But it will raise your insulin levels, and you will not burn any fat. And so we want to stop eating before dark, around dark, or stop eating as early as possible. I think I ate the last of my food just before my 2 o'clock client, and that was it. Oh no, I did have a little bit of ham, so I ate a little bit right after her, And I had 10 grams of protein from ham, and I had a fermented pickle. I was going to eat a piece of cheese, and then I decided I didn't want it, and I put it away. So I didn't have it. I had a cup of one of my tricks that I'm doing right now is cold coffee with Pellegrino water, and it fizzes up and looks like a root beer float. Oh my gosh, you should try it. It's really good. And so that makes me happy. So that was what I had, but I didn't have enough protein to actually build muscle, having that small little meal. And so I just followed it up with about 3 perfect amino tablets to give me more protein. And so when I do that, I'm able to have muscle synthesis, and I'm not wasting my protein. And so those are some things to think about that we can do for our body. What we want to do overall is keep our blood sugar low. We want to correct our blood sugar dysregulation. That's what my program does. It helps you do a metabolic reset by controlling blood sugar regulation with diet and circadian balance and the right amount of sleep and movement for your body. So I do follow the functional diagnostic nutrition DRESS process, and I educate you in that, and I bring in the holistic side of this, and I bring in a low carb diet because that's what works for obesity, and it especially works for women over 50. And so it will work for everybody, but you'll have to dial it in correctly. And if you keep snacking on things incorrectly, that's where you get messed up. And so that's what I'm here for. It is to help you not snack on things and get things messed up, is to help you with the process of what you need to do so that you could get the weight loss that you want. And that's why I love running the labs, because we can find your weight loss blocks and your hidden healing opportunities. And you can collapse the time it takes to get healthy in 6 months and get that weight. 20 pounds minimally is what is almost always what my clients get to reset the metabolism. Some people get more, depending on how much you fall off and recorrect everything. But for the most part, 20 pounds, 25 pounds is a good reset for most of my clients. And so you can get that if you implement the process. If you don't implement the process, I can't guarantee any weight loss because you have to implement it. I'm here for you to do that. I'll show up at every single call, and I will guide you if you let me. And so that's what we do. We'll talk, we'll figure out what you need to do, and we're going to correct your diet and lifestyle so that you're not dieting, so you lose that 20 pounds and you never gain it back again. Because this is about getting off that roller coaster ride, ditching those skinny narratives, understanding those misconceptions about diet and food, and figuring out what you need to do for your body, because we don't want to damage our body. What we've been taught is damaging our body. Those diseases of lifestyle, those are all lifestyle diseases. These diseases that we are living with, the Alzheimer's, the diabetes, the neuropathy, the autoimmune conditions, all of this is from the lack of nutrients to our body, and they are preventable. But if you get them, they're harder to turn them around, but you can prevent them. And then hopefully you can reverse some of them. Like my brother no longer has diabetes. He was one of my clients. I don't have prediabetes. Let's reverse metabolic dysfunction, reverse blood sugar dysregulation. And then guess what? You're aging adventurously. You're getting longevity to age young. And these are what we want to do. We've been taught that these misconceptions have damaged our body. I did them. I lost my 30s and 40s to obesity and depression and asthma and allergies and sore knees. I don't like living like that, and nobody wants to live like that. Everybody wants to have health, and that's what our birthright is, to have health. And so when we actually eat the right food for our body, stop dieting, bring it in as a lifestyle, these will help us. So those misconceptions and skinny narratives, that's damaging your body. Those diseases are preventable. And I am proof. I am your testimony here. I am the transformation. 100 pounds down, I am never gaining it back. Never. If I do, it's muscle mass, not fat. I can keep the fat off, but I'm going to gain muscle. I'm going to make myself lose some of this excess skin, tighten it all up, and build muscle, because that's what I need to do for longevity. So I'm going to do that. So the risk of living with these diseases by using the wrong food and trying to diet with the low calorie approach, the low calorie approach to dieting, is not giving your body the right information to thrive. We want to give our body the right information. Food is information with protein and fat over carbohydrates, as our species was designed, so we can thrive. That's anti-aging. That's your longevity factor right there. So if you want to turn off these diseases of lifestyle, that's what I help you do. That's how I fix metabolisms. And it's It's amazing what the body can do. You can get your body back into homeostasis. You can flip that sugar switch off. You can flip your disease-causing switch off. This is the magic. And when we work together, we're a super strong team to tune into what you need to do. You have to get your body healthy to lose the weight. Those are the misconceptions again. You can't just lose weight, get healthy. That's starvation. You have to get healthy to lose the weight. You have to eat more to lose the weight. You have to bring in the nutrition. And as scary as it seems to be to eat more food, that's what I'm here for, to help guide you. When you eat more food and take out the poison, when you take out the too many refined carbohydrates that are manufactured in a lab, then your body gets the right information, the right nutrients, so it can heal. So I reversed my prediabetes and sore degenerating knees. So that can be done. My client Pia did that. She and I both walked down the Grand Canyon. She had excruciating knee pain. I had excruciating knee pain. I had my pain sooner than hers, and I got rid of mine back in probably 2016, I think, was when I started Bulletproof Plan and my keto diet. And so I think it was 2015 maybe that I went down into the Grand Canyon and had excruciating knee pain. That's all gone. And so maybe not everybody wants to do a 24-mile hike across the Grand Canyon rim to rim on their 60th birthday, but that's what I did. That's what I wanted to do. I planned it at my 60th birthday, and I took it that following September. So that was so excited to be able to do that my knees could work, that my health was good, that I wasn't going to starve because I was in ketosis a lot of that time. And that's what our body can do. We can thrive. You don't have to be a hiker like me. You may not want to be a hiker, but you want to be active, outside, vacationing, wearing something beautiful, not being worried about your health, not being a burden to somebody you love, not having to live in a nursing home, not to have Alzheimer's. Those are part of the misconceptions of dieting. Those are part of the low-calorie approach. If you do that type of dieting, you get the diseases, because you're not getting healthy as you lose the weight. You want to get healthy to lose the weight, you'll have to pull in a low-carb method. Those are the misconceptions there. And I'm super passionate about this because that's how I got my body healthy. And so as long as you have inflammation from a diet that is devoid of nutrients, when we diet without nutrients, we damage our metabolism and our health. You ruin your longevity factors. When we live a low-carb lifestyle and correct our blood sugar and metabolism, we get healthy to lose the weight and have natural, sustainable weight loss. That's what I am doing. Isn't it exciting to know that we have this much control over our bodies and our brains? Alzheimer's is just too much sugar in the brain. It's called stage 3 diabetes. You get high blood sugar, PCOS, have insulin resistance. Those are all part of the blood sugar dysregulation. I had PCOS in my mid-30s. That's why I like working with ladies in mid-30s. So if you're mid-30s listening to this, I got you. I got you. I know how to stop that so you don't have to miss out on your 40s. So your body in a low-calorie state, when you're dieting with the skinny myths and the skinny misconceptions, when you're doing that, your body's breaking down. That's what Ozempic does, breaks your body down, doesn't build it up. And hormonally, your body's going to take over eventually and start to gain the weight back. That's what happens. You lower your basal metabolic rate because you're lowering your muscle mass. Our muscle is our currency, as our longevity factor. Your muscle is your best friend. You want to feed it, take care of it, nourish it. Same with your bacteria. Feed your bacteria, nourish your bacteria, give your bacteria short-chain fatty acids, some good quality, fresh pressed olive oil. I'm talking $40, $50 bottle of olive oil. That's medicine. Good organic butter, ghee, good pasture-raised bright yellow eggs. Those are nutrients to our body. Our body knows what to do with those. So don't let your body break down with those myths, with the skinny myths, with that skinny narrative. Don't get on a diet. You want to get on a low-carb lifestyle. Whether it's with me or somebody else, do yourself a favor and get off the processed food, get off the drinks. I'm talking about orange juice, soda pop, anything that you're drinking that's got too much fruit in it. Too much fruit, any yogurt that has sugar in it is too much sugar for your body. So it's the sugar and the grains and the carbohydrates that inundate the sad American diet that is hurting us. 88% of the population is struggling with poor health. And how many of those people, like we did, like all of us have done, have gone on a diet, excuse me, lost the weight, and gained it all back? How many people, like my client Janina, lost 60 pounds and gained it all back? But she lost it all again. She lost the 58 pounds and she's going to lose more. She's never going to gain it back because she knows how to manage her body now. She knows how to nourish her body. She knows how not to have heart disease and prediabetes. Those are more important to her than going to Disneyland and eating the crap. We have to decide if we want health as our wealth. We want to decide that we want to live a health adventure lifestyle, health as a hobby, so that we can have the best second half of our life with health, standing up straight and strong and not diminishing our body. So that sugar, those grains, the carbohydrates, that is struggling with poor health. They don't give us the nutrients we need. One of the things that was happening back in the 50s, the early 1900s, they were changing our diet. What we had that made us healthy was the protein and the fat. It's 3 square meals a day. And this is what happened. They brought in the vegetable oils. Oh, eat this new fat. It's better for you. Oh, you don't need the protein. Here's some sugar. Here's some boxed food. Here's this processed crap. Eat all of that stuff. And then people got sick. Started getting heart disease. Too much sugar, too much vegetable oil in the diet was causing the heart disease. It had nothing to do with the protein. They took the protein away, we got heart disease. So that was a protective factor. Natural fat is a protective factor. If you eat the fake vegetable fats, that's when you get sick. It just kills me and hurts my heart when I see people come out of Costco with those double containers of vegetable oil, which are just pure poison, already oxidized in the bottles. Takes whole factories that damage the earth to create these oils that are poison going into our body. That's a misconception that you think that, and people think that's healthy, but you just don't know what you don't know. That's when my clients come to me. I will help you understand what you need to understand, help you have that strong bulletproof mindset. I will lend you mine until you develop your own and give you that radical accountability so you can be a survivor and have health as a hobby and learn how to take care of yourself at home, the way Dr. William Davis states in his book Undoctored. We have to take care of ourselves at home. You don't like cooking? You don't have to cook a lot. I don't cook big meals. I might stick something in a pan or in a crock pot and ignore it. That's not cooking. That's just getting your food on the plate. I'll stick what I did today. I put salmon on top of some ghee in a dish, and I put some shrimp on top of that, and I just baked it in my toaster oven for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't remember how long. It was done, and then I ate it. No, that's not cooking. That's preparing your food and putting it on a dish. Easy. You stick your hamburger in there. You heat it up. Heat up a hot dog. If you don't want to cook a lot of meals, you don't have to. You could get factor meals in the beginning. You can get, there's soups, keto soups that are already prepared. I forgot the name of the keto soups that are out there. Captain Soup, I think it is. They're keto soups. They come frozen. You could just eat those too. Great way to do a detox and to really jumpstart your health. And so those misconceptions of the skinny myths and the calories in, calories out approach and over-exercising does not work, or we would not have an obesity epidemic. And so those misconceptions that carbohydrates and restricting food to reduce calories for weight loss, it's not viable. It will not work for you in the long run. It is an old, never proven narrative. It's all false. We have an obesity epidemic problem because of this issue. The information in the books Why We Get Fat is a really good book to get some information by Gary Tops. And the Nina Teicholz's book, The Big Fat Surprise, you can download all of those on Audible and listen to them when you go to sleep. Just re-educate your brain and so you understand what's going on. But come work with me for 3 to 6 months and I will give you that information so that you will be empowered by the time you stop working with me, because you will then know what to do with your body. So these are the many, many doctors working with the low carb. There are many, many doctors working with the low carb method for metabolic health and natural weight loss. And so it's not new. It just isn't accepted in the medical system or as the standard care because it doesn't make money for hospitals or for drug companies. It's not the way the medical system makes money. They make money for people who are sick. So if you get sick and you go into the medical system, they're going to make money on you. If you get sick and have diverticulitis and put you in the hospital, they're going to make money on you. If you have diabetes and have to have medication and have insulin, they got customer for life. However, I am not a customer because I have health as my hobby and I take care of myself with nutrition. I use food as information to my body and I'm not on a diet. But I lost 100 pounds. So I am not a client of the medical system. They did not get a client from me. So I like to say sometimes, like when my brother lost his diabetes and got off all his medication, another customer lost to the medical system. That's what we want to think about. I will go there if I'm bleeding, if something's wrong and they need to fix me up. I would be grateful to go to those hardworking nurses and hardworking doctors who spent a lot of money in medical school and who really have the heart to want to help us. But their hearts are broken because they can't help us. Most of the time, they don't know what to do to help people, and they get disillusioned, and they're like, they're stressed out. If they just have to repair people, fix people, they're doing the best job they can. But if we could just fix our broken sick system, the medical system is a sick system. It doesn't work. So it's what I've done, and it's what I've educated and empowered my clients to. My brother Mark was my first client. He lost over 70 pounds. He reversed his diabetes and is off all medication. How many of you would like to do that? I've even got a year-long program that I offer to save somebody's life in just a year, and it can take less time than that. It only takes 30 to 60 days to reverse fatty liver. When you reverse fatty liver, your body's going to work better. Now add 10 to 20 more quality years of your life. My dad died at 65, no legs, diabetes, kidney failure. My sister, barely 60, 62, 400 to 500 pounds, basically suffocated, diabetes, body couldn't function. She stopped functioning. What was she eating? Sugar, carbs. She was trying to eat some meals, but there was too much sugar and too many carbs. She had sugar everywhere and candy. So we aren't designed to eat that. Her body stopped functioning because she had too many carbohydrates. We could survive till 50 and 60 if we're lucky, but not much beyond. Or you can survive longer and just be sick, maybe in a nursing home, but we're not thriving. Just like dogs and cats in captivity, if they eat kibble, they lose half their lifespan. Think about that. Have you been to the vet lately? If we eat kibble, i.e. cereal grains, we get fat and die young, just like the animals. And I'm proof here. I'm my transformation. I lost 100 pounds, not eating carbohydrates, eliminating the processed ones. I'm thriving without any pain or medication. And my client, Donna, oh my gosh, so grateful that she could lose the weight in 6 months. Not only that, 95% of her pain, less inflammation in her feet, able to stand up all day from 4 in the morning to 8 at night, do what she wants to do in life and get things done. Makes her heart feel happy. And she's not worried about her health anymore. And now she has health, freedom in retirement, and can go on her retirement trip with her husband and live her best life. And I already told you about Janina. She had gained 60 pounds after losing it on the calories in, calories out approach. Those misconceptions they're so like, oh, I know I could do this if I just restrict. And we all want it. We think it's going to work. It's what we've been taught. But it's information that's damaging our bodies. We could do it, starvation, but it's like you're squeezing, and then it pops back up. That's all the fat we gain. And it's harder the next time. Your body's metabolism slowed down. You feel miserable. I got to do this again. But now she lost 58 pounds. She looked amazing, got remarried, feels great. And she knows how to keep this weight off permanent. It's permanent weight loss. How would you like to have permanent weight loss? I'm so excited for her. And now it's time for a healthy baby. So I see this all the time. Clients that have stalled and can't get beyond where they're at. Fix their metabolism, support their digestion, support their journey, help them find their hidden healing opportunities and weight loss blocks, and the magic happens. Education and empowerment, as I mentioned to a new client yesterday. You don't know what you don't know. That's what I'm here for. The more I talk to you, the more I get information from you, the more we have our health intake and diet deep dive and get all the information out there. Do your metabolic analysis. Let me see what's going on in your body. And then we correct it with diet, lifestyle management. That's my super sauce. You don't know what you don't know. If you get stuck on worrying about cholesterol when that is not the root cause of heart disease, you could inadvertently have heart disease. Did you know you need selenium for your heart? Do you know you need fish oil and fat for your heart and your brain? CoQ10, there's specific nutrients that your body needs. Dr. Sinatra has talked about the 4 Fab. That's the magnesium, the CoQ10, the D-ribose, the L-carnitine. Those things help your heart work. If you don't get those from food, you're going to have to bring them in from supplements, or maybe while you're getting your food dialed back in, you can bring in some of those supplements. And so I'm not anti-supplement. I am targeted supplementation because it's worked for me and it's helped me, because I've had obesity, I've had a broken brain, and I needed to use the supplements to put my body back together again. And so I use them targetedly, and now I'm supporting my hormones with quicksilver topical nano support gels that I love. And then I'm starting with that. I'm not doing official BHRT yet, but that's something on my list of things to do, because we need it as women over 50. I'm over 60. I want my heart to function, my brain to function, my bones to grow, to my muscles to grow. And we need to have our hormones to support us. Nature didn't design women to last this long. If we're living longer, it's up to us, using the brain we have and the tools we have and the education we have, to put our bodies back together again so we can thrive and survive. Not survive. We're going to thrive and feel radiant. So more than survive. So with me, you get to flip that sugar switch off and your metabolic disease causing switch off. Lose weight naturally with their low carb nutrition, not starve, not turn the hormonal. You get to turn the hormonal hunger and cravings off. Your body is starving for protein, ladies. Feed yourself appropriately and you will thrive without pain to be more active. I call this aging beautifully and adventurously into your 90s and beyond, like I'm going to do. How would you like to dance at your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren's weddings? So don't believe those misconceptions, those skinny narratives, that calories in, calories out, over-exercising, you're damaging your body. That's not how weight loss works. That is starvation. You need to eat more to lose the weight. You need to get healthy to lose the weight. We need to bring in the protein to get your body balanced again. Working together with me, you will get the information you need to make your weight loss journey a success. We will run 3 to 6 labs, diagnostic functional labs, to find your weight loss blocks, to find your hidden healing opportunities. That's my super sauce, is to put all this together, find what's going wrong, and help you dial in the lifestyle that's going to give you the weight loss you want. You have to reset your metabolism to have permanent weight loss. That's 20 pounds down, minimally in 6 months. That can be yours. What dress would you like to wear for the holidays? Maybe you're going to have a late summer cruise that you'd like to have. Wear something more, skimpy. You can choose to do that. You just need to be able to get activated into this. That's what my super sauce is. Take my lived experience, my conviction, my certainty that you can do this as I did and lose the weight that you want. It's not going to maybe come off as fast as you want it. We got to fix your gut. We got to fix your digestion. We got to fix your hormones. You got to get circadian balance rhythm corrected. You got to sleep. You need sunlight. You need short chain fatty acids for your intestinal tract. We got to clean up the gut. You got to reduce the inflammation. Got to support the thyroid, support the metabolism. And then you can have all of that. If you want it, I will lead you there. What do you have to lose at this point besides the inflammation and the weight, right? Let's collapse the time it takes to get the results that you want and get started with the lifestyle transformation with the Holistic Low Carb Method for your weight loss and diabetes solution as a woman over 50. So, I'm here for you. Don't believe those skinny myths. Don't fall for those misconceptions of low calories going to give you the health you need. It never has, and it never will. Because I was obese. And I chose to change it around and take out the carbohydrates. That's the only way I am thriving. The only reason why. My brother saw that, he wanted it, he took it. And he's doing it. My eldest sister, I couldn't help her. Breaks my heart. But who can you help? Send this video to somebody and let's get everybody healthy again for health freedom, because this is a health revolution to correct the sick care system, and it has to do with change. It has to start with you. It starts with me, with you. It starts at home with your food. We have to correct the food we're putting in our body, and we have to educate the people around us. I've got a client ready to work with me. She's got me on her vision board or her belief board because she wants to be educated by me so that she can support her family and give them the right information to protect her daughter, to protect her son. It's not just us. It's the people around us. Don't let those misconceptions fool you. Don't just go to the medical system and expect them to patch you back up again, because they can't. not unless you're going to a functional medicine practitioner or a naturopath or a chiropractor or acupuncturist. They'll help you. And if you need a health coach, a practitioner who's going to give you that lifestyle support, I have a 6-month signature program. I've got a 3-month program. I have a 6-week jumpstart program with a food sensitivity test, and I have monthly coaching. So there's something for everybody's budget and for what you need. But let's get on a call. So I will post that in the under this video or in my stories on Instagram, or DM me and I will send you the link direct. But let's get on a call and just talk, and I will give you some coaching right off the bat. I will listen to your problems and your main complaints, and I will try already as a health detective start figuring out what it is that you need to do and what's in the way. So if nothing else, you'll get that information and you can see how I could support you. What do you have to lose? Talk to you soon. DM me.